Now continuing on, we have our first part of our projected macro cut set up, our 2D cut. Now we're going to go ahead and do the second part, and this is actually selecting the surfaces that we want this 2D cut to be projected on. So I'm going to go up to layers. I want to actually now just look at the 3D surfaces of this part. So there we go. And in fact, what I want to do is I want to take a look at it from the right side. This is surfaces, viewing it from the right side, and I'm going to go to Tool/Cut, make a new cut, and I'm going to go ahead and use the same tool, but now I want to execute the macro. Remember, I put macro number 1 in that pocket back and forth cut. So I'm going to go ahead and select Do It, macro number 1, and I want to select this option, projected onto a surface. Now I'm not going to worry too much about this right now. I'm just going to go ahead and select Do It. Now Geopath wants to know what surfaces do you want this 2D or that pocket back and forth 2D cut, what surfaces do you want to project this cut onto? And I'm going to go ahead and draw a window actually around everything on the top and the top flat part of the surface of that part right there. It's found that those many surface objects. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to click Done. Now it's going to take a few minutes because it's quite a bit of calculations for the tool, but actually that was pretty fast. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up because I don't particularly care for this view, and I'm going to go ahead and say OK for that. I'm going to go ahead and switch this over now to an isometric view, and I'm going to run the toolpath. You can see up here this boundary is our 2D cut, and it's being projected down on the surfaces. So remember, our tool is running a pocket back and forth up there just with no Z depth at all. Well, excuse me, it does have a Z depth, but it's from our smashed boundary, our Z smash boundary. And then it's going to run down, and as it hits every surface, it will stay off these surfaces. So when this toolpath is finished calculating, we'll take a look at it. Okay, so now we have the first peck. Remember, there's 2 pecks in this operation. So the ball mill goes down to the first peck. It's running the pocket back and forth spiral. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. So you can see now when it hits the surface, it stays off of it. So this is a really great tool, this projected macro cut, for this what we want to do here. Now there's something that I see that isn't correct right off the bat. We'll let it finish its cut. Now it's doing the second peck down to the bottom of the part. Again, staying off all the surfaces. And if you recall, I had a Z cut depth on the actual 2D pocket back and forth cut was like, I think I was negative 1.5 inches, and the actual depth of this surface is about 1.12 or something like that. So it's being controlled by the surface, and we just don't want to be on our 2D cut, we don't want to be less than that because it will never hit that bottom surface to stay off of. So anyway, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and redraw. In fact, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead back to, I want to show the toolpath again. This is what I didn't like. This little jump that it's doing. It's something that it shouldn't be doing in the toolpath. Let me see. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to take a look at it from another view. This jump right here, there's something that's going on, going a little crazy here. So let's go back and take a look at our surface. Maybe it has something to do with the surface. So if I go back to Layers Set, and I just want to look at the surfaces, make that all invisible. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we have here. If I go to Info, Object Data, and if I zoom in a little bit more, right in here is where we had this problem with the toolpath. If I take a look at this surface right here, that's telling me down in the bottom left that you're pointing at a plane. Over here it's surfaces of revolution, but right here it's a plane. And also down here I have a surface of rev, and this is a plane right here as well. I'm going to convert these sides of this of the nozzle right here, the front and the back sides on both bosses. I'm going to convert them to NURBS. So I'm going to go to Modify, Surface, Convert to NURBS. Leave original objects? No. Now it wants me to select the surface. So I want to select this plane. That's been converted. And also this plane. Converted. So now when I put my cursor back there to those, it's NURB surface and not a plane. So I'm going to do it also with the back. And let me see if I can zoom in here and get a little better view. Right here. Good. Now I'm going to come into the other boss and do the same thing. That and this plane. Did I get that? Yes. And got that. And I got that. And the back as well. Good. Alright, so now we're going to go back. Whoops. Now we're going to go back and just run the tool, show the toolpath again, and hopefully that took care of that. Okay, so it does take a while to calculate the toolpath, but now Geopath is showing the path. I'm going to speed it up. Now you can see it's running and staying off those nozzles, and we got rid of the problem we had with the toolpath where it was going up higher by just converting those plane surfaces to NURBS. Let me speed it up a little bit more. There. Now I want to go ahead and take a look at it from this view and run the toolpath. Okay, so after calculating the toolpath, you can see now from this perspective the tool's going down to the first peck, which is Z 750 thou deep, and I'm going to speed up. You can see that it's staying off the part, then it goes down to the full depth. So anyway, that is how you would go about cutting this particular part and just the upper part of these nozzles using a projected macro cut.